global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news. Stay tuned.
Hello beautiful people, welcome back to Global Happenings Today YouTube channel. Interesting days are ahead indeed. Some few days after his election, and one of the former governors, PDP governor, had promised his people that he would do the best that he can to protect their welfare. It looks like this may just be the first set of things that many Nigerians out there should expect. Times are changing, and of course everyone needs to adjust. Well, there seems to be also a threat by Labour to plan a shutdown over this particular move. The moment is going to give you the full details on this. Before that, kindly subscribe to our channel. Well, there's a reintroduction of half salary to cut costs, and Labour is planning to shut down. It appears the promise of Osun State government not to sack workers in its employment and would no longer be kept, as Senator Demola Adeleke-led government has reportedly begun to show some of the workers the way home. It was also learned that there's a reintroduction introducing the modulated salary regime, also known as half salary, to save costs as the monthly wage bill has become too burdensome for the government to bear, given the recent revenue shortfalls it faces. Half salary came into Labour lexicon when the administration of Ogbeni Ralph Aregbesola owed a section of state workers part of their salary for 30 months. However, the government of ex-governor Adegboyega Oyetola abolished the aberrant system and installed a full salary regime that lasted for 48 months he spent in the saddle. Some of the civil servants who spoke with on the condition of anonymity said that they experiencing 3,000 naira to 10,000 naira deduction in their June 2023 salary, and the government has not communicated to them the reason for such strange deduction, particularly at this period where their salary could not sustain them due to the harsh economy in the country. It was also confirmed that workers whose employment were terminated were those on leave of absence to serve in the previous government in the state. The affected workers, it was learned, were not served any formal letter of disengagement, as it is the standard in civil service. They were only told their service was no longer needed when they showed up for staff audits and found out they were conspicuously missing on the shortlisted names for interview. Meanwhile, workers under the aegis of Osun Workers Union (OWU) had expressed their displeasure over the inhuman treatment being meted out to them by the government, which they contributed immensely for its emergence, threatening to say a lot of things and if the government remains unyielding. Well, the union in press statement issued some few hours ago by the organizing secretary, Comrade Gabriel Adeoye, said Governor Adeleke had betrayed their trust by singular action of his government to punish them with their salary. According to Adeoye, the action was disrespectful and illegal. No serious and sincere government would deduct workers' salary without duly informing them. Let's agree the government was facing financial difficulties. That will make it contemplate salary deduction. Were we not supposed to be carried along about their plan? When Aregbesola was about to start half salary for us in 2015, he invited us and explained things to us. He didn't activate the salary amputation through the back door as this government is currently doing. In the same breath, Adeoye frowned at the decision of the government to sack some of the workers who were duly approved for leave of absence. This action again is sad reality of what the civil service has become under this administration, where politicians driving the government process flout establishment rules with reckless abandon in order to punish those who they don't like their faces. Governor Adeleke shouldn't set an unfortunate precedent in the state by its politically motivated decision. The sacked workers are Osun citizens before any other thing and didn't break any service rules when they were asked to serve the state in another capacity by the previous government. He should rescind the sack to avoid labor dispute. Adeoye cancelled Adeleke, the state governor. A lot of reactions have showed this. One would understand the fact that there will be cost cutting on every side. Nigeria is seriously owing. It's just that some of us don't understand the dynamics. When we say we want an economic to rule the country and an economic also to be the state government, there's a reason why. It's not about, yes, you may like his face, he may be a jovial person, but there's what we call harsh realities. Obviously, he must have checked what his income or shown. Yes, they may be a lovely state. What are they really producing? Do they have mineral resources, natural resources? Are they totally dependent on derivative or state, federal government, allocation? Because that's another thing. A time should come in Nigeria where whenever you're thinking of electing any political position, any politician or giving any political position, you should be looking at how would the creative mind of the leader, how would he bring out something out of nothing? I'm not talking about, multiple taxation to Nigerians. That's not generating income. Over multiplying taxes is like flogging Nigerians back to back over the fact that they don't even have enough. They're still trying to take the little they have. I'm talking about recreation, creating something out of nothing that everyone will have a win-win situation over. We should come to a situation where it's not everyone who comes in because he's a politician and he wants to bear that name, His Excellency. It should be someone who's coming in all sincerity to change the narrative. What can you produce? Okay, what does the state have? What is it that you can do that you can engage the people and they can generate? A time should come to start wearing a taking cap. If possible, we should do this regionalization, restructure the country in such a way that, we look at the way you have economic strength and begin to harness it. Because the truth be told, where we are headed, with the level of borrowing we have borrowed, and the fact that some loans are still on moratorium, very soon they'll start dropping, and there's no form of income. Are we going to be borrowing to repay back loans? Are we going to remain perpetually on that debt? It's not feasible. At some point, we'll carve in. At some point, some of these countries may begin to start thinking of managing some of our national resources, which may not go well at the end of the day, because we need those resources also to sustain as a nation. Yes, some of our corrupt politicians have looted this country dry, but we need economic thinkers, people who are going to think out of the box to somehow, and Nigerians will have to sacrifice one way or the other. It's a painful one, judging the fact that they have removed subsidy. Fuel is 520 in some places, 700, 600, 700 in some places, and there's still the issue of likelihood of increment in a PHCN, that's electricity bill. And we're looking at so many other things, coupled with the fact that there's slash in salary and probably laying off of staff. The hardship is going to be massive within security. I guess at some point Nigerians start thinking agriculture. Even when you think of agriculture, is there security measures to also protect Nigerians who intend to go into agriculture? Because some of these bushes, some of these forests may need to be cultivated, but we need security. It's a big one. At some point, you would have to agree with me that adeleke may not agree to this, but some of them are also not careful not to also mention it to the press. But whatever the case is, at some point it will get to the press, and at some point also other governors may take a cue from this, because where do you want this? Do you want them to be producing money? These are hard, so that next time as Nigerians, when we want our own people, you think economic, you think you. It's not about 1 cup of rice. It has said, the 1 cup of rice has finished. It's not the harsh reality facing us. Let's go wrap it up.